Hi everyone, this is Anne-Marie from Alma Surfside Jewelry. Thank you so much for joining me for another beading tutorial today. For those of you who don't know me, I have an Etsy shop where I sell handmade surf and beach-inspired jewelry, and the name of my shop is Alma Surfside. And I also have an Instagram account, which is Alma Surfside 7. So be sure to check out both of those links in the description box down below. And for today's beading project, we're going to be working on a necklace, and it has a very different and unique shape. So it's based on the herringbone stitch in the center, and then it has two sides to it. Okay, so the left and right side that is jutting out. And I've reversed the pattern so that it's attached to the exact same shape but upside down. So that's what creates a very unique look. Okay, so this is what we're going to be working on for today. And in terms of beading supplies, what you're going to need is Berkeley Fireline, and I always use 6 pound or 0.006. On the far left-hand side of my mat are Toho seed beads. All of the seed beads that you see there on my mat are from the Toho collection. Okay, so these are 11 O's in galvanized silver, and they also go by the name of aluminum. Okay. In the next pile there on my mat are more 11 O's, and these are in white opaque matte. Okay, that's what they look like. In the third pile there on my mat are clear 15O Tohos. Okay, so just transparent. Okay, the next pile there, the fourth one, I have 15 O's in white opaque matte. And the fifth row there, I have more 15 O's, and these ones are in the color turquoise. And in the last pile there on my mat are Czech number 2 bugle beads, and these are in TR, which I think means transparent, teal, and they have a luster finish. Okay, so that's what they look like. In addition to all of the seed beads and bugle beads, you'll also need a lobster claw. Okay, I've chosen silver because I've used silver beads in the project. And you'll also need a couple of jump rings. Okay, these are stainless steel and they match the color of the seed beads. Okay. And of course you'll need a beading needle. Okay. And in terms of tools, it's helpful to have flat nose pliers to work with the jump rings at the very end of your project. And of course you'll need scissors to be able to cut your fire line as you work. Okay. So go ahead and gather all of your materials and let's get started. Okay, so in terms of what we're going to cover for today, I'm going to be going over 2 of the segments. So you'll notice that I've attached 2 of them together with 15 O's in white opaque matte. Okay, so you're going to be doing that over and over again. And then once you have all of these pieces attached, you're going to create the necklace by just using 11 O's in silver in between each of those 2-part segments, if you know what I mean. Okay, so you're creating 2 at a time over and over again. You'll have all of those sitting there on your mat. And then at the very end of the project, you'll be attaching all of those segments by using 11O seed beads in silver. Okay, so I'll be going over how to do that today, how to attach the pieces. Okay, so what you want to do is cut off about an arm's length worth of fire line, and you're going to go ahead and attach that to your beading needle. And we'll get started on the very first part of it. So you're going to go ahead and pick up 2 11 O's in silver and push those down on your thread. And you're not going to need much of a tail, so just enough to tie it off. I would say maybe an inch or so. And then you're going to insert your needle through the very first 11 O seed bead, this one here. Okay. And pull on your thread. So at this point you want to have both seed beads sitting side by side, and then you're going to go ahead and pick up 2 more 11 O's in the same color, and I'm going to go down the bead on the right and then back up 2 of the beads on the left, like that. Okay. So you want to have all 4 beads stacked on top of each other. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 more of my 11 O's in the same color. I'm going to go down the bead there on the right, and then back up the 2 beads there on the left. Okay, so all 6 of your beads should be stacked on top of each other. We're going to take another 11O. My thread is coming out of the left hand side, and I'm going to go down the bead on the right hand side. Okay, so you want to have that as a little bit of a point, okay, in your shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up 3 of my 15 O's in white. And I'm going to skip the center bead there, and I'm going to insert my needle into the very last bead in that row. Okay, so that created a little arch on the outside of the shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up another silver bead, and I'm going to go down the next bead. Okay, so my thread's coming out of the left side, and I'm going down the bead on the right. And pull in your thread. Okay, so that's the shape that you want to have at this point. And I'm going to pick up 3 more 15 O's in white. And I'm going to skip the center bead there, and I'm going to go through the next bead, so the 3rd one in that row. Okay, so that creates a little rounded oval shape. And now I'm going to go through this bead up here, so the one that's in the point area. And I'm going to pick up a total of 3 turquoise beads in 15O. There we go. And I'm going to insert my needle through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. So that creates like a little rounded point there. And you can put your needle up through the first 15O in turquoise, this one here. Pull in your thread. You can skip the one sitting there in the center and go through the next one over. So this one here. I'm going to pick up a white 11O. Okay. And I'm going to go back through the silver bead that's at the point there. Okay. And pull on my thread. Okay. Pick up another 11O in white and go back up through that turquoise bead above and pull on your thread. Okay, I'm going to skip the center bead, go down the turquoise 15O as well as the white 11O, so these 2 here, and pull on my thread. Okay, so that's the shape that you have so far. Pick up a 15O in clear and go through the very first bead in that arch row. Okay, so this one here. Okay, we're going to go through the very next bead, the 15O, sitting there in the center. And I'm going to pick up a total of 3 white seed beads in 15O. and I'm going to go through the opposite side of that bead that I'm exiting. Okay, then I'm going to carry on through the next 15-0 in that row, as well as the 11-0. Okay, so these two beads right here, and pull in my thread. Okay, so now that we have both threads here, I have my little tail, the 1-inch tail, as well as the main thread on this side. I'm going to tie them off at this point. So you're going to want to do 2 or 3 really good knots. Okay, and then when you're done with all of your knots, you can cut off the small tail. So this part here, and you can set that aside. Okay, so I'm going to continue by going through the very next seed bead, the silver one that's at the point. And I'm going to attach a total of 3 15-0s in turquoise. There we go. Okay, so go through the opposite side of that seed bead that you're exiting and pull on your thread. Okay, so now we're going to carry on through the 11-0 as well as the next 2 15-0s. Okay, so you want to be exiting the 15-0 that's sitting there in the very center of that arch, and you're going to pick up 3 more 15-0s in white. And go through the opposite side of the bead that you're exiting. Okay, so that's the shape that we're working with so far. And then we're going to go down through the next 15-0 in white. And we're going to pick up a clear bead in 15-0. And we're going to go up through the 11-0 in white. Okay. And now we just have to work our needle around the outside of the shape. So I'm going to go through the turquoise 15-0 right here. Skip the top bead, go through the next 15-0 in turquoise. Okay, so I'm coming out of this little turquoise bead over here now. And I'm going to go through the white 11-0 as well as the clear 15-0. I'm going to go through the very first 15-0 in that arch, this one here. Go up to the 15-0 that's sitting in that set of 3 there, right above. Skip the middle white 15-0 and go down the next one. Okay, so that just creates a little point on the outside of the shape. And now I'm going to pick up one of my Czech number 2 bugle beads, and I'm going to go through the turquoise bead there, sitting at the bottom. Okay, so you can see our shape is almost done. We're going to skip the turquoise bead in the center and go down the next one. Okay, we just want to make sure that it pops there. There we go. And we're going to pick up one more turquoise bugle bead. And I want you to go through this white bead up here, sitting on the top, okay, as part of the 3 there that are pointing outwards. Okay, so see where it's coming out right here. And then I'm going to skip the white bead in the center, go down the next one, as well as the very last 15-0 in that row. Okay. And pull tight. Okay, so that's the completed shape there. And now I'm ready to create a couple of knots to finish it off. So I'm going to go on the inside of my shape and go through the loop and pull tight. Let's do that one more time. Go on the inside of the shape and create another knot. Okay, so that's the completed first shape. That's part of our necklace. And we can go ahead and cut off the extra thread here. And now we'll be ready to create our second shape in that unit. Okay, so now that we've finished the first part of the component, we're going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to go over it one more time with you. So we're going to start off by picking up 2 11/0s in galvanized silver. Okay, I'm going to push those down on my needle and down on my thread, leaving again about a 1-inch tail, just so that I can tie it off. And I'm going to go up through the very first 11/0. Okay, so you want to have those 2 seed beads sitting side by side. And you can go ahead and pick up 2 more seed beads, same color. We're going to go down the right-hand side, right here. And I'm going to go back up through the left-hand side through those 2 beads. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pick up 2 more 11/0s in galvanized silver, same color. And I'm going to go down the first bead there on the right and back up the 2 beads there on the left. Okay, so you want to have all 6 beads sitting there stacked on top of one another. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up another 11/0, same color, and I'm going to go down the right side. Okay, so my thread is coming out of the left and I'm going down the bead on the right. There we go. Okay, so that's the shape that you want to have at this point. I'm going to pick up a total of 3 white 15/0 seed beads. And I'm going to carry on through the 3rd bead in that row. So I'm skipping the one in the center and I'm going down the 3rd bead and pull on my thread. Okay, so that just creates a little arch shape. Okay, at this point I can pick up another 11/0 in silver. Okay, and I'm going to go down the very next bead. This one here. Okay, so that's the shape you want to have so far, and we're going to do the same thing on this side, which means we need another 3 white beads in 15/0. And I'm going to skip the bead in the center, and I'm going to go down the 3rd bead in that row. Okay, which again creates another arch. Now I want you to go through this next silver bead in 11/0. Okay, you can pick up a total of 3 turquoise beads in 15/0. And you're going to go through the opposite side of that bead there, the bead that you're exiting. Okay, pick up an 11/0 in white, and I want you to go up through the turquoise bead above, skipping the one in the center and going down the next one. And you can pick up another 11-0 in white and go through the center bead there, the silver one, and pull in your thread. Okay. Now you can go up the 11-0 in white, this one here, the 15-0 in turquoise, skip the one in the center, and you can go down the turquoise 15-0 as well as the white 11-0. Okay, you can pick up a clear bead in 15-0. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the very first 15-0 here in the set of 3. Now we can go through the center bead. And we're going to pick up 3 more 15-0s in white. And go through the opposite side of the bead that you're exiting. Okay, so then now that we've attached the 3 seed beads in 15-0 and it's creating a, a little rounded area up here, we're going to carry on through the next 2 beads, so the 15-0 in white below, as well as the 11-0 in silver, so these 2 here. So if you remember from last time, now that we have both threads on the same side, we can tie a knot at this point, or I should say several knots. So we're going to do at least 2 or 3, and then we'll get rid of our tail. There we go, and I can take my scissors and cut off the extra thread. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so the next step is to go through the 11-0 in silver right here. And we're going to attach 3 more turquoise seed beads in 15-0. Okay, and I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. Okay, carry on through the 11-0 in silver right below. We're just trying to get over to the other side at this point. And then I'm going to go through the next 2 15-0s in white. And I'm going to pick up 3 more white 15-0s. And I'm going to go through the opposite side of the same seed bead. Okay, carry on through the 15-0 right here, right below. And that 15-0 is the last one in that row, so I'm exiting right here. And then I'm going to pick up a clear 15-0 seed bead. And I'm going to go up through the 11-0 right here. Okay, so we've finished, the first part. The last thing we have to do is to attach the bugle beads to the bottom part of this shape. So I need to work my needle around the outside. I'm going to go through the turquoise 15-0, skip the one in the center, go through the next one. Okay, go through the 11-0 as well as the 15-0, the white bead and the clear bead. Go through the very first bead in that row, so the white 15-0. And now I can step up by going to the outside of our shape. So this one here, the first one in the set of 3 that's sitting on top. Okay, skip the bead there in the center, so this one here, and go down the next 15 row. Okay, I'm going to pick up one of my bugle beads right now, and I'm going to insert my needle into the very first turquoise bead there. Okay, skip the one in the center, go through the next 15 row in turquoise, pull tight, okay, so that this one pops out. And I'm going to pick up another bugle bead, and I'm going to go through the very first white 15 row up here. Okay, the one that's sitting in the trio. And pull on my thread. So we're almost done. I want you to skip the bead there sitting in the center and go through the next bead. Okay, and you can carry on down through the 15 row right below in white, this one here. And pull on your thread. Okay, so that's the completed shape that you've created. And we can go on the inside here and create a knot. So I'm going to do a couple of them, and then I'll cut off the extra thread. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get my scissors and cut off the extra thread here. Okay, put that one down on my mat now that it's ready to go. So right here on my mat, I've laid out the finished piece that I worked on earlier. And I'm going to show you how I arrange each of these pieces. So I start off with one where the point is facing up and the bugle beads are facing down. And then I do the opposite for the next piece. Okay, so you always want to have the bugle beads facing together. And then when I have another completed set, I arrange them like this. Okay, so I only have one here, but you would do the reverse of this one on this side. So you're going to attach these two together as well as the next set together with the first set. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to attach these pieces together. So you want to make sure that your thread is coming out of this bead here at the point, okay? So that it's on the side where the bugle beads are, and it's the center bead. And you can go ahead and pick up one of your 15 rows in white, as well as your other shape that you've already created. And you're going to make sure that you go through the same bead, okay, on the new piece. So it's the one sitting there in the center where the bugle beads are on that side. And you can pull the thread together. Okay, and I'm going to pick up one more 15 row in white, and I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. Okay, so this one right here. And pull together. Okay, so that just cinches the two shapes together in the center. And then you can reinforce that. So I'm going to go through all of the beads here. The white one, the turquoise one in the center, back through the white and the turquoise. Okay, so that creates the first whole unit. And then what I can do to attach the next one is continue on through the outside of this shape, going through the white 15. Okay, so just working my way up to the top until I reach the other turquoise bead that's sitting in the same spot. Okay, so you can see that I'm exiting the turquoise bead in the center, okay, on the opposite side now. And in order to attach the next set of two, I'm going to pick up an 11/0 in galvanized silver. And this time I'm going to go through this bead here, so it's the opposite of where the bugle beads are, and pull on my thread. Pick up another 11/0 in silver. And I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. Okay. So you can see that's where the next two pieces will attach. Okay, so I've just used larger beads to attach between each set of two. And again, we're going to reinforce that by going through all of the beads that we just added on. The turquoise bead, and back through the silver and turquoise. Okay, so just doing that loop one more time to make sure that it's a little bit stronger. I'm going to stop the tutorial there. And of course, what you're going to do is continue doing the same sequence all the way down in order to create the entire necklace. So now that we've finished going over all of the steps, the last thing to do is to go over the closure. Okay, so to create the closure, you can see I've already done it on this side. So I've used a total of 5 clear seed beads in 15/0. So we're going to do that together on the other side. So you want to make sure again that you're exiting the bead sitting there in the very center. And then you're just going to pick up 5 clear 15/0s on your needle. There we go, so a total of 5 clear 15/0s. And then I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. So right there. And pull on your needle. Okay, in order to reinforce this, I'm going to go through all of the beads that I just added on. Okay, so I've just gone through that circle one more time to make it stronger. And then I can carry on through the 15/0 right below. So the turquoise bead. And I'm going to go down the 11/0 as well. Okay, and now I can create a knot by going on the inside of my shape. And I'll do a couple of knots here to finish it off. Okay, so now that I've finished 2 full knots, I can cut off the thread. And set that aside. I can grab one of my jump rings and my flat nose pliers. Insert it through this hole here. And close it up. Okay, on the other side, I'm going to grab another jump ring and the lobster clasp. I'm going to attach those 2 parts together, and I'm going to go through the hole on the other side and close it back up. Okay, so that's how you attach your necklace. You're going to have your lobster clasp inserted into the jump ring on the other side. Okay, so that's what creates the final closure. Okay, so that concludes our beading tutorial for today. And I know that it's a very intricate piece, that each component requires, quite a few steps in order to get this look. But I think that it really paid off. And I like the use of the clear teal bugle beads. I think that those are really special and and unique. And yeah, I'm very pleased with how this turned out. So I hope you are as well, and I hope that you really enjoyed making it along with me today. And if you haven't already done so, please take a minute to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you know of anybody who could benefit from this video, who's a fellow beader, please be sure to share this video with them. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for today. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, take care. Bye for now.